All right. Well, thank you for joining us today for our second interview with our local small business experts. Today, we will be speaking with Jennifer Tate on small business marketing. Just a little information about what we're doing. We're starting to do weekly discussions with the Economic Alliance and other small business experts, such as how to start a small business lending. We'll be speaking to an attorney about business formation. A lot of people ask C Corp, S Corp, LLC, what does all that mean? Talking to an accountant about business financing and accounting and much more. These sessions are going to be short 5 to 10 minute not 5 to 10 question interviews that we hope will answer some of your most important need to know small business questions. We will allow for time for questions at the end and encourage you to reach out to the Economic Alliance and or our industry experts to find out more about any topic you are interested in learning more about. Today, we will be learning about small business marketing, and we are so excited to have Jennifer Tate, owner of Earth and Sky Studios, who will be sharing her wisdom and experience working with small businesses, not just within North Central Washington, but also within the state of Washington as well. Welcome, Jen. Can you share a little bit about your background and experience?
Sure. Hi, thanks for having me. Okay, so I actually grew up on the Bridgeport Bar, as a young girl, and then moved to the Met How when I was in high school. And then went to college, did a few things, came back and started Earth and Sky Studios in 2000. So that's 22 years I've been doing this. It's been a long journey, a long time. And over that time, I've worked with nonprofits, I've worked with small businesses, I've worked with resorts, hotels, lodging, a lot of tourism, and then more recently, real estate websites and a huge variety of different things. So I have a lot of experience in what I would call bootstrap marketing, where you don't have a lot of money and you can't hire an agency to do a whole dog and pony show for you, but you need to talk to your prospective clients and get the word out there. And so really know how to do a lot with a little, use some duct tape, use some baling twine, whatever we need to get the job done. So
it sounds like you have the background and knowledge to help many of our local small businesses who are looking to learn more about how to market their new or existing business. Let's get started with the interview. Today, we're going to hear some of the most common questions that Jen hears in her role when working with businesses. Now to our first question. Jen, how does a business even start thinking about developing a marketing plan for their new or existing business?
So the first thing you want to do is identify your lowest hanging fruit. And by that, I mean the easiest client that you have to convert. You always want to start with the easiest one because A, you'll get the most return on your initial investment that way. B, you'll start earning some money that will allow you to go after additional marketing in the future. And C, it's a lot less stress to start with the easiest one. So try to align your initial marketing by thinking about the people that are most likely to come visit you the easiest. And so once you know who that might be, or you have a good idea of who that might be, think about how best to communicate with them. And I'm not sure if we're jumping to the next question here. I didn't pull them up in front of me. So you can tell me if we are. But once you identify who your best client is, and you kind of have a sense about how old they are, perhaps if they're on Facebook, or if they're only on Instagram, or they're on TikTok, or they don't use the internet at all, and they hate the internet, and they would rather read a billboard or listen to the radio, you can start to kind of plan things around where that person might be at.
All right. It kind of ties into the next question that I have. There's right now, especially, post-COVID, marketing has changed, since pre-COVID, and a lot more is done on social media platforms. So how do you know, with all of the different platforms that are available, what ones are going to be the right ones for that specific business? And you kind of answered it, but can you expand a little bit more?
Yeah, let's dig in a little more. So if your business is skewing very, very young, for like a young crowd, say high school or college age, you're going to want to be looking at TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. Those are where the youngest generations are right now. And if you're looking at, somebody more my age, kind of in their middle ages and older, Facebook is really, really reliable and a really good way to connect with people kind of in the, I'd say 35 plus. Depending on your business, Pinterest might be a really good idea for you. Pinterest is where people go looking for ideas of what to do. And so just say that you are a craft store, right? Pinterest would be a great place. You could actually be posting about different crafts people could do, and they could get to know you and come to your craft or yarn or quilt shop to actually get the supplies to do that, right? Also, like if you were a boutique grocery store or you sold like food items, Pinterest would also be really good because people go there for recipe shopping, like to go look for recipes if they want to try. So different platforms kind of have different audiences. Generally, for most businesses in our area, Facebook is going to be the most common denominator. It's the number one generally I would tell somebody to be on. Most all, post 30 age adults are on it, and most people from 20 to 30 are also on it. And so it's your number one place for social media platforms in general, I would say.
Okay, and in regards to social media, is buying and boosting ads important, and how do they help my business? And do you have a platform like, I know that there's different ones that are out there where you can, as a business, again, you're thinking that I don't have a lot of time, so how do I best minimize, if I post in one spot, then it can go across all platforms. So do you have, one, is buying boosting ads important? And two, do you have a platform that you recommend that would help businesses get the same message out across all?
So yeah, so buying and boosting ads can be really good. It's not what you want to do necessarily to build your brand recognition, but just say that you have a Mother's Day brunch. Perfect for like a small restaurant to advertise that on Facebook using boosts. And if you boost it on Facebook, you can automatically choose to boost it on Instagram as well. And you don't need to spend much. What you want to do is try to geofence your audience. By that, when you're in Facebook setting up your ad, it'll ask you, who do you want to talk to? And you could say everybody from 18 to 65, and you could put them in Okanagan County or in North Central Washington. So you can actually kind of choose where you want to put them. You can also choose to market to anyone, between 18 and 30 in Washington State or in the Pacific Northwest. So you can kind of edit it. And then when you get it where you want, you can put in $20 or $30, and it will tell you how many people you're going to reach with that amount of money. And it's usually pretty spot on. So it's really simple. And I would just recommend just starting with the Facebook ad manager to do your ads, because you get on both Facebook and Instagram, and it really is not that hard. If you haven't tried it, you really can do it. Just have your credit card ready to put it in when you get there. And then once you've got everything entered, when you create a post, Facebook will ask you, would you like to boost this? Or it'll tell you, this post is performing really well, maybe you should boost it. And you can even just do that and hit like your previous audience. And it's really not that hard. And I don't recommend using another platform to try to manage that unless you're actually because they usually cost money. And usually it's so you can actually create calendars of content in advance and do a little more advanced stuff. So Hootsuite is one, Sprout is the one that I use. But you really don't need them to do your ads and do your ad spends. You don't need that. It's really just an option.
Okay, that sounds good. Can you tell us about other marketing methods that you recommend to businesses here in our area? We hear a lot of times that a lot of people, especially our older populations in our county, aren't necessarily on Facebook or Instagram. So how do we get the word out to some of those people that are part of our target audience that we want coming in to hear about, our businesses or the businesses that we work with?
Well, radio is a great form of local advertising, and the local radio stations have very reasonable rates. You can also do their their morning show where you get on and actually sit there and get an interview with them. And it's actually really low key. They make it really fun and easy. It's not intimidating at all. So that's a really great way to get the word out. Other things you can do, like billboards are not bad. You can see the hospitals use them a lot, and like the family health centers, they use them a lot. And they are a really good way for reaching a lot of people as they're driving by, if that's, what you're trying to do. Other things are, you can be creative. You could print off flyers and cut them, to kind of regular size sheet into half and print a bunch and put them under windshields of cars or post them up in the bulletin boards. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do that. Another thing you could do is offer your local customers, like, a free coupon if they refer somebody, or try to make an incentive program for some word of mouth advertising, which is really helpful here. Make sure that you listen to your customers and ask for their feedback, so you can really perfect your product and your service and really make it outstanding. They are going to be your number one source of quality feedback if you ask for it. One of my favorite questions, and this one is worth remembering, even jot it down if you can. Once somebody has finished their meal or conducted their transaction with you, ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your experience with me? And hopefully they'll say something like, like an 8, right? And if they say an 8 or they say a 7 or whatever, say, thank you so much. Now, what would it take for this to have been a 10? What could I do? What could I have done that would have made it a 10? It's that second question that really gives you that, because then they're going to scratch their heads and be like, well, it was pretty great. But, if you had done this or that, I think it would have been a 10. And that's where you're going to get some real gold. And that is so valuable to have that information. And when you ask that question of people, they will remember that you actually wanted true feedback, and that will up your reputation in their eyes, right? Like that too. So,
that's great. A great strategy for some of our small businesses, especially, I think all of the businesses right now are really trying to figure out, how do I market my business? How do I get people comfortable coming back in, walking back in their doors, especially post-COVID. So I think that that's a great strategy. So we have a lot of our businesses who are owner operated and have very minimal time. That's one of the biggest things that we hear as feedback is we just don't have time, learning how to do Facebook, learning how to do, TikTok and all these other things. Even I'm like, my daughter, please teach me how to work TikTok.
Right.
I need to learn this. I want to be up to speed, because I want to, I don't want to be one of those people that just aren't interested in learning new technology. But,
right.
We are faced with a lot of our owner operators who just don't have time, and even who are a little bit afraid of taking their businesses onto that online marketplace, just because the additional staffing time and those types of things that come along with it, in having to check the social, the media to see if they sold a product, and then they have to do the shipping and all those things. But do you have any tips or tricks or strategies that can help these businesses on the first steps to getting started, to bring awareness to their business so that it's not overwhelming to them? Is it just starting with 1 ad a week, or learning how to do the long-term marketing where they sit down one day? Or, what is it that can help these businesses who might never have been or marketed utilizing social media?
Well, I would say start with, pick a day, and then you're going to write 3 posts on that day for the week. And pick 1 post to be about your business and informational, like, we're open these hours and we're located here, and here's a picture of our smiling staff or something, right? Then pick a second post that is information that might be helpful or useful for somebody about something in your industry. And it could even just be reposting a news article that you found online about real estate, or about home inspections, or about carpet cleaning, or about what lives in your carpet and why you should get your carpets cleaned, right? Like, so something informative. And then the third one, just let it be something beautiful or funny, or something that's just kind of that you would actually want to see on your feed. that you want to share, so that you're not, because what you don't want to do is hit people over the head with, hey, come buy my stuff, come check me out, right? And so you want to kind of build a set of containers. How are you going to talk to people? And that's why I always recommend to have 3 different topics and try to do 3 posts on that one day of the week. And you can schedule them right in Facebook. You can schedule them to run on the day that you want them to run and space them out. Do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or do it Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And just start like that. Just give yourself about the business, something informational, and then something beautiful or funny. And try to keep it not political and not religious. That's helpful. Cat, if you run out of things, funny cats are always great, right? Like, or our beautiful scenery. People who live here love our landscapes, right? So that's always safe. And yeah, and just start like that. Those 3 things, 3 a week.
That is great input. I think that is definitely something that a lot of our small businesses could do right away to get their businesses
Today.
On media today. Exactly. So another question regarding websites. Over the last couple of years, we hear people talking about, my business doesn't need a website. I got social media. I do everything on social media. What is the importance of having a website, and how could a business, go about creating one if they don't have one?
So if you're a cafe or a coffee shop, you're probably fine with just your Facebook page, having your business hours, your menu on there. You don't have to invest in a website, I would say. If you have any kind of professional certification or any kind of like accreditation, or you have a license or contract number, that kind of thing, you really do want to have a website where that is really clear, so that people know that you're legitimate. The number one reason for a website is it means that, it tends to add legitimacy to who you are and let people know that you really are legitimately a business, and here's your contractor number, those kinds of things. And it also gives you a place to put your history and your about and a variety of things. So if obviously you don't need to know, like the coffee shop is going to have been accredited by the health department, right? So you don't actually have to go to a website to know that you want to go to the coffee shop. So kind of, you can use your own judgment. I don't always say everybody has to have a website. Generally you want one, but not every business. And what you want to do is make sure that where people are going to be looking for you, you always have your hours up to date, and you always have the days you're open up to date, and you keep that menu fresh, right? So if you're just using Facebook, by golly, use it, right? Don't
Right.
neglect it. And if you need help getting started with a website, WordPress is pretty great, but generally it's best to hire someone to get you started. What you don't particularly want to do, it'd be better to have no website at all than to have a really junky website that doesn't look professional. Better just to stick to social media and save your money up until you can actually invest in a website, because it is kind of your first foot forward and it tells people how professional you are. And so if you're going to invest in one, you really should actually do it and invest in it, and not just, use something that's a little hokey. And I mean, some of the free Wix sites, like Wix is a free one, some of them can be okay. But, and then do have your best critics kind of vet it for you and take a look at it and help make sure that all the words are spelled right and that kind of thing.
Yes, very important. That again goes to credibility on your, if everything's not accurate or spelled correctly. Jen, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you to talk about marketing or about developing a website? Because I know that that's part of your services that you provide.
Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Facebook, Jen Tate. My company is Earth and Sky Studios, and you can find us on Facebook too, and also at our domain name. You can probably honestly randomly ask somebody on the street if they know how to get a hold of Jen Tate, and they probably will.
They probably would know how to get a hold of you. Yes.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, you can just find me, track me down, call, text, whatever.
Jen, our final question. Can you share with us what are some of the strategies that small businesses should use to ensure that they have a successful marketing campaign?
First of all, don't talk so much about yourself, right? Focus on the pain that you're solving, whether it's a hungry tummy or a sleepy person who needs some coffee to wake up. Like, focus on the pain that you're solving for the person you're solving it for and how you can solve it. And really try to keep the focus on the person that you're helping or that you're offering this for, and try to put yourself in their shoes and imagine, for example, if you have a coffee shop, you've got people in the early morning who are rushed, right? And let's imagine that your goal was to be the fastest place to get an espresso, right? Because you knew that time was of an essence. So that is a great combination of pain points to solve. So you need to put the promise out there, come here to this little stand and you're going to get your espresso faster than anywhere else. We guarantee it, and we'll give you a free coffee bean or something. And really craft the message to identify how you're uniquely going to solve the pain for the person you're solving it for. People don't really want to hear much about you unless they're already thinking about choosing you based off some other people. They want to hear about your resume and your background, and they're going to ask for that. So the initial, here's who I am and what I do should be about how you're going to help the person that you're here to help, because that's what being in business is about. It's solving a problem for somebody with a profit, right? So that's it, right?
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be part of our Business 101 interview with the experts to share this very important information to our local businesses. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
Never quit. Just keep going. Success is 99% perseverance. That is what it is. One foot in front of the other. Keep going. You'll get there.
Thank you. Well,
thank you.
Yes. I just wanted to share a few things. So the Economic Alliance also has our Small Business Resource and Tech Center. So we are currently offering classes on some of the things that Jen spoke about today on intro to Facebook, Instagram, Etsy, some of our different types of marketplaces that you can sell your products if you're a retail business. It's very important that if you're interested in learning more about that you contact the Economic Alliance, 509-826-5107. We're offering classes, but we also are providing that one-on-one service. So, and we could go out to your business and work directly with you there. And next week we'll be back on here again with our next small business expert who will be talking about government contracting. And so we're really excited to have her here. And again, I just want to thank Jen one last time. She's been instrumental. She does our Economic Alliance website. So if you're interested in seeing what that looks like, go and check that out. But she's also helped us with our small business grants over this last year. She actually donated her time and services of her staff to put that website together so that we could get donations to help our small business community, especially during the time of COVID. So thank you again, Jen, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.